OMG boom. This, however, is not a fighter, and it was never stationed at Biggin Hill. This is the sole surviving Avro Vulcan, the only airworthy Vulcan in the country. This is a superb shot of the Vulcan on its takeoff run along Biggin Hill, and up it goes, and its Olympus turbofans send it up like a lift. And in the bright sunshine, you can clearly see the camouflage on the upper surface of this fine, venerable aircraft, which did sterling service during the Falklands conflict, and on occasions took part in missions of 7,000 miles. Flying the Vulcan is shared between Flight Lieutenant Paul Millican and Squadron Leader Dave Thomas. Today, it's Dave Thomas at the controls, and he looks as though he's enjoying himself up there. You can clearly see the delta shape of the wing, which is in fact not a true delta. The leading edge has a kink, which was added to the prototype to improve the aerodynamics, and away in the distance is the Vulcan above those World War I fighters. It's returning to us now, low, slow, and you can see the runway markings reflected on the glossy undersurface of this Vulcan as it flies away towards the sun, a steep bank. And if you watch carefully, you can see the elevons on the trailing edge of the wings. Yes, they combine the ailerons and the elevators of a conventional aircraft, and you can clearly see the way that they affect the manoeuvres of the Vulcan. And Dave Thomas is banking steeply away to the left, and I should imagine that he has a fair amount of right rudder to keep the nose up in the air to ensure that the Vulcan doesn't slip away towards the ground. The undercarriage is down, and I should think if you look closely you'll see the air brakes emerging from the upper and lower surfaces of the wings, and there they come. In this configuration you would normally expect the Vulcan to land, but the display hasn't been going on for very long, and I imagine that Squadron Leader Dave Thomas is going to show us what is known as a touch and go. Once more the runway markings are reflected. Watch for the smoke as the tyres touch the runway. Is he going to land? The nose wheel is staying up, the engines are spooling up, and he's taking off again. And this is when I put my fingers in my ears, because the noise is absolutely deafening. And you can see what the horses thought in that field at the far end of the runway. Dave Thomas is banking steeply to demonstrate the upper surfaces of the Vulcan, and you can clearly see the teardrop-shaped cockpit canopy, which has very little glass in it. And as you see the undersurface of the Vulcan, a view of the capacious bomb bay with the doors shutting like a rat trap. A precision job indeed. And away the Vulcan goes, the nose is being pulled up, the spays are beginning to smoke as power is applied, and from this angle it seems as though the Vulcan is climbing almost vertically into this cloud-flecked sky above Biggin Hill. Steep bank to the left, once more a fine shot for the photographers in the crowd. And this is a good display that's being put on as we take a quick look at a bomber of World War II vintage. And on the nose of this flying fortress we saw the Sally B. That was on the port nose. On the starboard side it's the Memphis Belle, and the checkered cowling commemorates Ted White, the man who brought this flying fortress to England. The Vulcan is now making its landing approach. It must be landing this time. Once more we see the reflections of the runway on the undersurface. Once more, watch for it, yes, smoke as the tyres touch, and a good view of the braking parachute, which saves so much on the brake linings. And as the Vulcan slows down on what might be its final landing at Biggin Hill, we must go to Trish, who is talking to Flight Lieutenant Colin Cunningham of an RAF Chinook helicopter.